Hello, my name is Thomas, and in this video I'm sharing a piece of my family history with you. It's this letter written by my granduncle Horace in Italy, September 1943. He was a British soldier on the front lines, and he wrote this letter to my grandmother, Hilda, and their parents. He asks whether she's joined the ATS, the Auxiliary Territorial Service. This was a women's branch of the British Army to help free up the men to go to the front lines. Horace would be shot in the leg in December of that year. He'd pass away in March 1944, the family being informed in September 1944. You see why this letter carries such importance. My mother would be friends with his widow. My parents would visit her and also visit his grave to pay their respects in Italy. A letter from Horace Ransom, 269389 of the 1st Green Howards, 20th of September 1943. Dear Mum, Dad and Hilda, I hope you're all keeping quite well. Has Hilda heard any more from the ATS yet? If she has gone, I hope she likes it okay. I'm keeping very well, getting brown, getting very fit, climbing mountains. I went from North Africa to Sicily and was going to join the 1st Battalion of my own regiment, but when I arrived on the island, this battalion was short of officers and were going to invade Italy. So, I switched over to them. Out here, an officer who gets his own regiment is considered very lucky. I landed at Catania, and we were the first troop convoy to dock there. It is in an awful state. The half of the town nearest the sea has not one single home left standing whole. The people there are very primitive and live in appalling conditions. They were all nearly starving and would fight for a packet of biscuits. I slept the first night in an orange grove, and the next in a vineyard. There is one good thing about this part of the world. That is that there is plenty of fruit. We have had plenty of melons, grapes, peaches, figs and apples, and a few pears and plums. What we miss more than anything is a drink of beer. There is plenty of inferior wine, but no beer at all. Soap is also very short out here. As you know, this part of Italy is very mountainous, and we have to march through some of the worst country for marching. After the first 3 days, my feet were very sore. I was very glad when we had our first rest period. South Italy is very primitive indeed, even in the towns. The houses are filthy and have hardly any furniture. The town just about stinks. As the roads are few, much of the carrying is done on pack mules and donkeys. The rough carts they have are drawn by bulls or cows, so are the ploughs. The ploughs are the last word in modern farming. They consist of a long piece of wood for a shaft, a shorter piece fixed at an angle to dig, and a wooden frame to stop it digging too deep, a modern plough. In the towns, very few people have shoes, and a few more have a piece of hide with the hair still on, tied under their feet. The rest walk about, barefooted. Nearly all the towns are built up on round hills. There is usually an old castle on the top, and all the houses are built round it. The church is near the castle. Invariably, the people have to get their water from a well down the valley. We always get a marvellous reception when we first march into a town. People crowd the roads such as they are, and hand out fruit and vino, wine. They clap, cheer, and pat all the lads on the back. 1 or 2 chaps even had the girls kissing them. When Italy packed in, we were in a rest area near a village, and the people went nearly mad. They sang and danced in the roads, and brought out plenty of vino for themselves and us. Many of our lads got drunk that night. Food is dreadfully short out here too. Malnutrition is rife. Children of, say, 10 look more like 5-year-olds. Almost as soon as we drive the jerrys out, The people start to fetch their cattle, sheep and goats out of the mountains where they have kept them, hidden. Unfortunately, as I haven't his address, I have been unable to write to George. I should like you to let me have it, so that I can write to him. Occasionally we get a chance to swim in the Med, and it is lovely. The water is clean, clear, and quite warm. I have never enjoyed swimming so much before. Another thing that we got plenty of is fresh air. The night before last, we slept without a blanket, just out 6,000 feet up. Wearing tropical clothes, this was no joke. During the day we sweat gallons and can't drink enough water. I must close now, as we shall soon be on the move again. Best of luck. Love, Horace.